What's up, Honey Badger Nation? This is John Kitchens, and welcome to episode 118 of Expert Mentors Live. I'm really excited for today's episode as we have TGIF. Thank God it's Fanale, Mr. Dave Fanale on with us. And man, I'm really excited to dive in this topic. We're going to dive into the art of differentiation and omnipresence. So, Mr. Fanale, say hello to the Honey Badger Nation.
Hello, Honey Badger Nation. I'm so excited to be a part of the Honey Badger Nation with the DeVoe Group and everybody out here in North Jersey.
Yeah, and you guys got a great crew, and I know we've had a few of your immediate tight circle on Expert Mentors with us in the past, and I'm really excited for you to jump in and join us today.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm honored.
Man, I always, it just blows me away when I look at the size of the organization of the Honey Badger Nation. There are more people in the Honey Badger Nation than there was when we joined EXP 3 years ago. So it's pretty exciting, and it's growing. It's massive, the massive growth. I mean, I think Kinder, we were talking this morning. 10%, I think, is over the last 30 days is kind of what the growth rate we've seen, which is unbelievable. So, but for all of the amazing people out there listening in, give a little background. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, it's I've been in real estate my entire life, like my entire career, right? So, went to Rutgers College in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and as I was going through that, my dad was a dentist, and he wanted me to be a dentist. I said, "There's no way in hell I'm putting my hand in anybody's mouth. No way in hell I'm doing that." So I was like, what was I going to do? I had to appease him almost. So there was an urban planning major that I decided to take. And that was my start into real estate. Got my real estate license early, learned how to sell and work with buyers in the 70s, really during the summers. Wow. Graduated, didn't have a job, worked for him in his construction. Like I said, he was a dentist, but he had a lot of real estate. So he had a 40-unit building going up. I worked as, you name it, I did it. I cleaned up shit. I cleaned up everything, you name it. I did it, right? Anybody that he couldn't get to do something, I did. Fast forward, got a job, worked for a local planning board for a couple of years, and then started working for him full time. Built, developed, sold, bought, all different kinds of things. And then in 96, got involved in owning a brokerage and bought my own brokerage. And there for 21 years, I learned a lot of ways of I learned a lot about people, because when I bought it, it was all about for me being a businessman. Like, I know business, I know how to build things, but I wasn't working with normal people, right? I was working with real estate agents, right? And that's not a bad thing. It was just they were different. It wasn't, John, it was the old model. It's the old model where, pat me on the back, tell me how great I am, and maybe I'll go do another deal. It's all like, what have I done for them lately as the broker rather than the other way around? So anyway, long story short, I was a bit different where I kept patting them on the back and saying, go ahead, go get another one. Go get another one. So anyway, I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about appeasing people, made a lot of mistakes, but I believe I've learned from my mistakes. And what I learned was that if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, looking for different results, it wasn't going to happen. And I think Einstein called that insanity.
Yes.
So I figured, I learned from some guys early on in my brokerage career that, that they were different. They were blunt. They said what they felt. So what I was able to do is bring on a manager for me that was my buffer, and I could say what I wanted, and he took care of all the little BS things, right? So I was able to be me and be blunt, and I was telling people to do things differently. I've been doing video for, probably back, I can't even remember, maybe 15 years I've been doing video. And the reason I got into it was, honestly, I had to get surgery. I had a hernia operation. I couldn't do anything for a week. I was bored. I was bored as hell. So I started going on the internet, and I saw this thing about video, and I said, wow, this is really cool. And I learned how to upload a video of a listing and get it on the front page of Google in less than a day. Actually, my record was 44 minutes, right? Google figured out how people were doing it, and they stopped allowing it. But I used a program called Traffic Geyser. If anybody ever heard of that, with the Koenigs. And of course, a big guy back then, who still is Frank Kern. That was the days with his long hair and everything else. Yeah. But I started learning to be different from them. And as time went on, and social media came into being, I started learning, okay, well, I've got to be on this, I got to be on that. And I was very lucky along the way to have some innovators that knew a little bit about something to teach me, to spend the time with me. And then I just took off. Where over the years, they would come back to me and say, hey, can you help me with this? After they taught me how to get started. So it's been a lot of fun being different. So that's what I base a lot of my training and coaching on, is being different.
I love that. So would you say that, getting, life putting you on pause for a minute with the surgery being laid up, was that kind of the milestone, the tipping point from, everything before that to then kind of everything after that? Was that the changing point, or was there something else in there that really was a big shift for you?
Well, that was one of them, simply because, as I said, I couldn't do anything. And having worked in all these projects and managing properties, I was also required to plow snow and to move snow. And that week it snowed. So I couldn't go out. I had to have someone come and plow my driveway. And I never did that before. I always did it myself. So it was a turning point, because I had to find something else to do. And I spent like hours on video and building different video just from pictures, right? So it was a big turning point as far as differentiation. Absolutely.
Wow. So you mentioned a lot. I mean, getting into kind of exposed into the industry and the space in the 70s. So you got to ride through every market, right? Like, you've literally have seen every ups and downs and changes. Like, what are some of the biggest things that, that you've seen, what's still the same and what is, even drastically different from your vantage point? I just think you've got a unique perspective, because you've seen every bit of the industry. And what do you like, what do you not like, what's, with that amount of experience, it's got to be able to give you some insight and being able to predict and forecast and see things a little bit easier than most.
What I like has always been my downfall, and that's being different. And what I mean by that is being ahead of the curve. My brokerage that I had a cloud system before anybody knew what a cloud was, where agents could access their stuff from home or whatever, right? So being ahead of the game was something that I learned in that area where I had the surgery. But way back when, when I first got into the business, we're talking interest rates 18%, 20%, right? And then Reagan becomes president, and the economy starts getting going really well. And then you have the downfall at the end of the 80s. Then you have the 90s. And then of course, the last day of the last normal market we ever had, which was September 10th, 2001. You know what happened the next day?
Yeah.
Right? September 11th. That was the last normal market we had. Since then, 19 years, it's been fluctuated all over the place. But what has been really fantastic and what I really love is that being different and being ahead of the game is now outpacing the old bullshit, the old, stuff, right? Like we teach scripts and dialogues, right? So the thing is that I always say, well, if you want to sound like everybody else, memorize the scripts and dialogues and use them word for word. No. Memorize them and then throw them away, rewrite them as to how you speak. Because nobody wants to talk to a machine. They want to talk to their Uncle Joe, their cousin Jim, their friend Dave. That's what they want to talk about. So actually being different is talking to people like you're their friend. It's just being different how you approach the stuff, rather than, and it's never a cold call. It's never a cold call. It's always a friend call.
Yeah.
Right? So the change that I love is the way technology has really started to take over. But what we also see is there's people missing it and people excelling in it. The old 80-20-90-10 rule,
Yeah. So where's the acceleration?
The acceleration today or back then?
Yeah. I think it's kind of principle based, right? So what causes that acceleration where some it slowly or the gradual or it never happens?
The acceleration happens out of knowing what you want. You know what? It all comes back to mindset. And I'm always asking everybody that I communicate with, new people, what's the switch in real estate agents? What's the trigger? I asked you the same thing, and it's like, where is it? You know, guys like Greg Harrelson is going to say you have to be prepared. This way you can ask the right questions. Michael Hellickson will say your why has to be big enough. I believe that, but I also mean that the acceleration point comes when, you know what, I'm sick of this stuff where you just get fed up of being fed up. You get fed up of being sick and tired. Sometimes that's it, or you've been nurtured along properly or well, where, you know, you don't stop. You're always pushed. It comes from birth and it comes to now. I truly believe that it's all about habit, right? When we're born, we have one habit. You know what that habit is? It's staying alive. That's our only habit we have. And it's a habit we continue to build and to grow on. So the acceleration point comes in desire. It also comes into, comfortability. If you're okay with being uncomfortable and challenging yourself, you're going to make it. Those people that like to get a little scared and have it push them, they're kind of crazy people. We're the think about it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've all made big changes, and we're there. I mean, everybody that we work with right now, even in the Honey Badger Nation, all these people have made big changes. Why is the Honey Badger Nation so huge? Because we all made big changes.
Yeah. It's that environment, right? And really who you're associating with, and are they pushing you to be uncomfortable, right? Are they pushing you to be better? Or do you get around those type of people and you retract, or do you get around those people and get excited, right? Get energized. And I think that it really is extremely, extremely powerful. So Dave, let's kind of shift in a little bit. I know you were touching a little bit, and from doing things differently and focused on differentiation, and really the kind of how life tease things up for us, right? And you could have chose, right? Go back to mindset. You could have chose to just be laid up and not take advantage of that as life slowed you down, but you chose to, hey, I got to use this time in a way that's going to help me be better. And that's a mindset choice, right? It's a mindset shift. And, not feeling sorry for yourself, no victim mentality. It's like, how can I use this extra time to help me excel? Right. Talk us through that a little bit. And then, kind of what sparked that. And then, the video, and like we talking with Kern, and just getting immersed into that online digital marketing space, that world. And let's get into some differentiation.
So the differentiation was the video, right? Because nobody was doing it. Right. Just a really quick story. I would start doing personal videos, not motivational, but talking about different things, selfie videos, and posting them on Facebook. And I'd go to a broker meeting or something the next few days, and I remember, just like it was yesterday, one of my friends says to me, I saw your video today. And they kind of chuckled a little bit, because this is like in 06, 07.
Right.
They kind of chuckled a little bit. I said, you think that's funny, right? He says, yeah, but you watched the whole thing, didn't you? Yeah, I did. So that was the differentiation point of where it started for me. And it was like, all right, so this is going to work. This is going to be different. Some of my agents really bought into it and they loved it. It made an awful lot more work for me. I was one of the ways I was very fortunate growing up is my dad worked all the time. Not good for family, but he worked all the time. And I'm the youngest of 8 kids, and we all have a great, great work ethic, right?
Still that into you. Yeah.
We all work our asses off. And if we don't have work to do, we got to find something to do. So it's really not easy to sit back and do nothing. We all talk about, I can't wait to go on vacation. And I just said before, I was on vacation last week and I worked half the time. So, the push was, was seeing the differentiation happen with the video and how I could make a difference for my agents, because I always worked for them, what would make them better. Didn't get as much buy-in as I loved, but the changeover from the video and then to trying to start doing things about 5-6 years ago in the virtual world, and now it's something that's necessary. So that's what I see the path going.
Yeah, no, just you just sharing that, the youngest of 8, and you talking about, a lot of our habits and things are instilled at an early age. I can see fighting for differentiation being in a house of 8. That's kind of going to be wired into you.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's funny, you have 8 kids in 9 years. My poor mom, right?
Whoa.
So and everybody in the house grew up differently. Right. And you wouldn't think 8 kids in 9 years, they'd grow up differently. They weren't that close. We're all pretty close now, but over the years, we all did our own thing. I was really the only one who was into sports. I was probably, most of our parents wouldn't let us do it, but that was beside the point. But, we had to get our own initiative to what we were going to do. And we were basically allowed because there wasn't as much supervision as it would be if there were like 2 people in the family.
Right. So on, kind of talking from a differentiation standpoint, as you were seeing the shift with video, you were embracing it, but in your situation, you're broker owner. So you're trying to get your agents to be more productive and buy into this, where is kind of from, the right way and the wrong way to go about, really from a differentiation standpoint to be able to, to stand out to where it's in your favor versus something that could kind of work against you?
Well, you got to be relevant, right? So one of the things real estate agents have to understand is that as a real estate professional, we're 3 things, right? We're a real estate agent, right? We're a technologist, and we're a constant creator of relevant content. So think about that constant creator of relevant content and technologist. By technology, I'm really meaning social media, right? Social media is prevalent in our lives. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to evolve. As our business evolves, as our lives evolve, that's going to evolve. Whether there's government restrictions on it as time goes on or not, who knows, right? So just as the internet has evolved, right? I mean, I grew up and started my life without fax machines, and then fax machines were the big thing. And now when people say to me, can you fax that to me? I say, you can't fax me where I live. They say, where do you live? I say, in the 21st century. Just a joke. But, so video through social media is really important. But if I do similar videos 3 times a week because I run 3 times a week and I do a video after it, and I'm ready for it. I have my content ready, and the whole thing is that I do that and I get certain engagement. And what people don't understand about the differentiation of your video and of your content is that it might not always register on Facebook or Instagram that people are actually seeing it, but it's not registering, right? So I said to a friend of mine up in Canada, David Greenspan, I said, you do these videos like I do on your stories and stuff, and we're trying to make a difference in what we're doing. But does it ever seem like when you only get like 5 or 10 views that you should quit? He said to me the same thing I thought, is that you'll have those 5, 10 views, but something's going to happen the next week or whatever. Someone's going to come to you and say, Dave, thank you so much for that post. It really hit home to me today, and I needed it. And one of the things that's really valuable is that whether you're doing it for a coaching business, for a real estate business, for personal, it's going to hit somebody that needs it. And that's where the differentiation really excels you and pushes you above everybody else, is that you got the guts to put yourself out there, and people are going to take the time to listen to you, right? Now, I said relevant content, sure, right? You cannot be noise. I mean, you and I see it all the time with these posts about what people are doing in their business. How many real estate agents do you see that talk about if they've got a listing, what they had to do to get it fixed, or if they're doing a flip? I see great examples of it all the time, but I see more bad examples of it all the time, right? So the differentiation point is really simple. Do something that people like, but that they get interested in because they haven't heard much of it. So be different. There's so many ways to be different, John. I mean, it's basically what others won't do.
Right. Can you, off the top of your head, a couple good examples and a couple bad examples to give some contrast?
So here's a bad example of content, two of them, right? One is someone who posts their listings all the time. We know that, right? We know that, we look at it and say, oh, geez, because it's noise. It's freaking noise. No one gives a shit, right?
Yep.
The other bad example is there's a top agent in my area. And if he was ever watching this, he'd know I'm talking about him. He always posts about how great he is. And he always will post something that somebody pissed him off. And what he's doing it for is self-acknowledgement. He's doing it. He'll get like 100 comments. They're all from real estate agents that are bowing to him, telling him how great he is. I call him out on his shit all the time when he does that. And we get into this long rant. And I say, dude, it's okay. It's okay. So those are bad examples. Here's a great example. Like, you want to differentiate yourself at a listing presentation. So you can do this both virtually and you can do it in person. So as you're going to that listing presentation, one of the things you've got to do is you've got to be able to prepare for yourself. It's like getting ready for the game, right? So I always talk about practice. You got to practice your presentation. You got to know what you're going to say. You're going to understand who you're talking to. So hopefully you've pre-qualified your seller before you get there, right? So you get there and you say, okay, so how am I going to differentiate myself? Really simple. You either take a picture of yourself in front of the house or a video. Now, you do not show the number of the house or the entire house. It's just behind you and people know it's a house, right? Your post either in text or in video is, hey, it's Dave. I'm going in. We're going to be putting this house on the market really soon. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath colonial here in northern New Jersey, or whatever. You mentioned the town. If you're interested in seeing this before it comes on or get more information, please message me. I'll be glad to get you the information. The post is only part of it. You put that up there before you go into the presentation, before you go into the appointment. But you've got your partners, your affiliated partners ready to comment and share. So you're looking for your mortgage people, your real estate colleagues, people in your team to comment on it and share it to their pages. Hopefully, they've got a combined 10 to 20,000 friends, right? So 5,000 is the maximum on Facebook. So if you got a couple people with 3,000 friends, that's 6,000. Let's say you get three people, a mortgage guy, title guy, another agent, total 9,000 friends. Okay, you've asked them to share it, comment, and like it, right? Okay. You also tell them when you do it, I'm going to be posting at 6:30. So please make sure you text me when you do it. Okay. You're in the presentation. You're going through the process of whatever your presentation is. Everybody's presentation is different, and I hope it is anyway. So you go through it, and then 20 minutes or so into your presentation, you look down at your phone. And most people, I get annoyed if someone's doing a presentation, they look at their phone, right? So you're going to say, oh, darn, I'm sorry. I know it's rude to do this, but I wanted to show you something. You see this? That's actually your house. Notice I've got 3 people that commented, 3 people that shared it, and they have a total of about 9,000 to 10,000 friends. So before I've even listed your home, I've got the possibility of about 10,000 people seeing your home. Any other agents showing you that?
That's a little ninja move right there.
So I don't know if you've ever heard of that before, John, but that's just something of being different. And I know it was a long explanation, but that's just one way to differentiate yourself from other agents, because let's face it, everybody's trying to do what they got to do. There's ones cutting commissions, there's others talking about others and this, but this and that, but this is just a point of differentiation.
That's a great example. And a couple of things there that kind of stood out. One, power of video. So that incorporates, embrace the video. What does our good friend Chep always say? My terrible video is better than your video that you never shot. So
ask him about his video in Coronado a long time ago. Still his top viewed video. But anyway, go ahead.
And then the other is, the agreement with your affiliate partners, right? How we're going to create more exposure working together, right, instead of looking for just a monetary relationship. We also have a relationship to where we're help create more exposure for each other as well. So I think that's a brilliant little piece in there, with the vendor relationship.
Right, right. I mean, this is just part of it, and this is one way to differentiate yourself with your sellers. And years ago, before video, before that, I would say, go take a picture of the house and put it on a business card, and that's going to be your business card for your appointment. So when you walk in and give them your business card, it's going to be a picture of their house, right? So there's always been a point of differentiation you can always make, no matter what your skills are, no matter what you've got. And people say, well, I don't know how to do that, or I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want to be on in video. Look, you know what? I remember, I think it was Katie Lance that said, if you have a problem with what you look like and what you sound like, that's how you sound. That's what you look like. Get over it.
Get over it.
Do it. Just get over yourself and do it. I've been really lucky. I mean, I've been able to meet the right people and talk to the right people and be coached by the right people. And that's another point of differentiation now, which is going to be more common, is have the right coach, have a coach.
Yeah. And, I think that goes back to that learner mindset, right? You talked about, from a mindset perspective, that we have to embrace that learner mindset. We also have to embrace that teachable mentality, right? To where, we're always, looking to improve and looking to get better. And there's a great quote from General Sineski, and it's the if you don't like change, you're gonna like being irrelevant even less, right? So I always think of that when somebody says, "Well, I don't like video, I'm that whatever." I was like, "Well, then are you okay with being irrelevant? Because that's what's about to happen."
Right, and you've got a better chance of being able to be noticed more organically with video than you do with any kind of post. I mean, look, organic reach is difficult in and of itself, unless you really are really good at it, and it's tough to do, especially now for the election time. Organic, during an election, organic is going to be really tough. Ads are going to be very tough. That's where the differentiation, if you're going to build an ad, has to come. You're not going to go to a regular audience. You're going to have to change that.
Yeah. So yeah, talk a little bit about that and some key strategies that we can be thinking about. And, student of Jay Abraham for so long, just paying attention to what people are doing within the industry, you're only going to get plus or minus single digit growth, right?
Right.
Where the exponential growth and change happens comes from outside of the industry, right? Paying attention to what's working outside of your industry and how can you adopt and apply into what you're doing. So talk a little bit about some possible organic strategies, some differentiation on paid, kind of the different piece there that some of these honey badgers might be able to, take and put into play for their business.
Sure. So I work with side by side almost every day, Sekou Pyle, and I think he was with you last week.
Yeah.
Right?
Amazing.
And one of the things that he always says is be the one asking the questions, not the one with the answers. So in your social, there's several things you have to do if you're going to do a video. People want to know who you are, what you got to say, why is it worth any value, and also what you want them to do. So it's a call to action, right? So whether it's in a video or whether it's in a text or whether it's in a post, ask a question, ask people to do something, whether it's to respond to you or to go somewhere, a call to action. Now, we're getting into not only the art of differentiation, but an omnipresence point. You need to be on all channels, and you need to be consistent on all channels, meaning that you need to have, your current photo up everywhere. I mean, that's not being different. That's just being smart,
yeah.
Right? Now, during COVID, I mean, a lot of people did a lot of different things. Me, I grew my hair. I grew a beard.
I'm still growing it.
Yeah, but yours is a different color now. So I lost 30 pounds, right?
That's awesome.
I was changing my photograph every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Now one is pretty much good because I stopped losing the weight. I'm still growing my hair. I decided ponytail time sooner or later, right?
There you go.
But we've made changes. You got to make sure you're consistent across everywhere. And if you want to know how to do that, just Google yourself and look at everything that comes up and see if the same picture's there. That's really important, right? Because people are going to want to know who you are. And let's talk about review. I want to talk really quickly about reviews.
Sure.
the only way that people really care about reviews is to verify who you are.
Right.
They're going to go everywhere for that, and they're going to Google you to do that. So talking about ad strategy and being omnipresent is to be everywhere, right? And you need to also help that along with ads. Now, I tell everybody, do not use the easy button, and because the easy button is where it says boost, on your post. Don't do that because that's worthless. That's throwing money away. Now, for those in EXP, KV Core, when you go to boost a post through KV Core, that's a little different. That's actually an engagement post with a CTA. So that's cool.
Okay.
And that's exactly what I say to do. Have engagement posts. So one of the things I learned from our friend Chep a long time ago is that there's 3 types of ads. There's like content, there's content amplification and conversion. So basically what we're looking at is taking those 3 types of posts, right? Like it could be a meme, it could be just a comment you have, whatever it is. Content amplification is something that really says something about you and who you are and where you're at, right? In your business and life. And then there's conversion, which is really maybe it's a listing, or maybe it's an open house, maybe it's a homes list or something like that. So the percentages you're going to use in order to get known all over the place is going to be 10, 30, 60, right? So 10% like, 30% content amplification, and 60% conversion. This is in normal times. Actually, this is one of those times now. But what's going to happen as time goes on, we're going to make that change through the Christmas holidays, right? Through the holidays as time goes, that's going to change because people's habits change. Like if I said to you, what's the best 10 days of the year to advertise on Facebook? What would you say?
I would immediately go into the holidays, but for some reason I feel that's the wrong answer. But
the right answer is December 22nd to January 2nd, something like that. Everybody says, oh, why? Because people are just hanging around doing nothing? I said, no, people get new toys, right? When you were a kid, when you got a new toy at the holiday, all you did was play with it for the entire holiday season, right?
100%.
Right? Phone, iPad, laptop, you're on it all the time. And you're going to get great leads from that. And it can really boost your beginning of the year. Anyway, I digress, but that's where you're going to change. We're going to be more conversion than you are with other stuff. Doing all of that stuff through the year and sending people to different places on Facebook and sending people to your website or sending people to search areas, you're going to be able to grab who's going there by using the Facebook pixel or tag marketing or however you want to do it. But the Facebook pixel is the important part. And you can retarget these people. Now, starting now, really, we're doing this in September of 2020, right before the presidential election. Now is where you want to stop doing interest group advertising and area advertising because it's going to be taken over by political ads.
Yep.
You want to do mostly retargeting ads to people who have already shown an interest. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, what are some great pieces, some retargeting pieces that will work, right? Like what are some of the retargeting pieces?
So if you've put out ads there, like say you boosted a listing through KV Core, right? You boosted a listing,
okay.
You got a bunch of leads from it. A lot of people looked at it, clicked on it, but didn't click through the lead. What you would do then was you would retarget anyone you did that kind of an ad on. You would retarget with maybe a homes list for that area. Okay, so the best ad that I've ever run on Facebook has been a homes list. You take the median price home in that area and you do everything underneath that. So get your list of homes in Saddlebrook, New Jersey under $450,000. People are going to continuously do that, and that ad's going to work a lot. It's going to work really, really well. The leads are going to be better than most because people are going to want to see that. And one of the things is that if you do this as a lead ad on Facebook, you're going to have their information, which means you're going to build a list, and you're going to keep sending them relevant information for Saddlebrook, New Jersey. Now, with the Facebook guidelines, people are probably asking, well, it's a 15-mile guideline. Isn't that like more towns? Yes. But once you start using that as your headline for the town or the towns, right? You're going to be able to retarget specifically to that town because your other ad was 15 miles. This one's going to be retargeted to those people that went to that listing, which was in Saddlebrook, right? So you've got to be consistent with what you're doing there. The most important thing that you're going to do with differentiation and omnipresence is be consistent and post in the right manner. Now, here's the important part, John, of all of this. And people are saying, you're talking social media, you're talking ads. I don't want to spend money. Too bad. You're going to have to spend some, right? But here's the other thing. The whole process behind differentiation and omnipresence is that you want to be able to reach everyone, okay? High tech, low tech, and no tech, right? The no tech are basically going to be those people that don't engage with email, that don't engage with the internet. You know, it could be, you know, the older people that have lived in their homes 30 years,
right,
ready to downsize or move. Unfortunately, it could be people that, you know, where someone may have passed and they want to go to an apartment. So you have to be able to engage with those. How do you engage with those? People are going to say this isn't differentiation, but it is. It's your sphere of influence. It's making sure that you're out there communicating with your sphere of influence. I'm not talking about sending a postcard to your entire town. I'm saying send it to your sphere of influence on a regular basis. This is the no tech way. Follow up with a phone call with everybody. Everybody you talk to. It's called a handwritten thank you note.
Powerful.
Right? These are things that everybody seems to like. They want to forget, right? But
real estate agents are great at forgetting stuff that works.
So you need to go back to the basics. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe that the stuff we did in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s makes sense. I mean, I think that's all old school. But nothing's going to replace the phone call. Nothing's going to replace that handwritten thank you note as long as USPS is around.
Yeah, and even too, Dave. You know, just the damn text message to that sphere of, man, just thinking about a quick video, right? You know, hey Dave, just thinking about you, man. Hope everything's good. Just you know, wanted to just say hi if you need anything. You know, I'm here for you. Boom.
Yeah, and a way to, you know, there's several ways to do it, and I've learned from great people over the years. We've mentioned a couple of their names today, but you know, one of the things is your sphere of influence. It is the one thing that you have that nobody else has. Now, if you don't have a sphere of influence, or if you're young, like in your teens, because I work with a couple of agents that are in their teens or early 20s, they really don't have a sphere of influence that's going to be buying and selling real estate. So you need to build that. You build that through social media. You build that through a lot of different ways. But so what you really want to do is to be able to get out there and use your sphere of influence through social media. How do you do that? Really simple. You make sure everybody in your sphere is a friend of yours on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, right? Connect everywhere. And then on Facebook, you just start the first day of the month. If you've got 200 friends, okay, break that up. You're gonna communicate by message to everybody once a month. Think about the powerful point of that is where you're going after. You can also do text message. You're also going to do a postcard. You're also do all these other things. But as you do it through that, you're being different, because what's going to happen is you're going to increase your engagement on social media, because when you message them, they're going to respond. Facebook's going to see that, and it's going to bring you wider as you are going deeper. Make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
So that's a simple process called Facebook A to Z. I mean, you're just going to go everybody that you know and do it. You want to ask questions. You want to engage. You know, the simple thing. How many people post something, get like 15 comments, and never respond to the comments? Right? That's like you and me going for a cup of coffee. We sit down, we have our coffee, and I say, John, those are nice glasses. And this is what happens. Silence. Nothing. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
This response should be, thanks, man. I just got them. They're at so-and-so. Or if someone asks you a question, and this is in life, if someone says, Dave, nice shirt. and I say, yeah, I've got a few more just like it. Say, oh, thanks so much, man. I just got it. I got it at Macy's or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You've got to interact with answering the question or commenting on exactly what they commented on rather than going off on a tangent.
I love that. That's a great little nugget. It's a great reminder for a lot of people. It's like
that's the little things, John. That's the little things that makes you different. And when we're talking about the art of differentiation, it's using simple systems with modern tools for great success. That's what it is.
Yeah. I remember, Ryan Dice, from stage several times, right? Opening TNC like 3 years in a row. Do shit that doesn't scale. That was like his message for like 3 years, his opening keynote coming out on stage at TNC. Do shit that doesn't scale. I don't think he said shit. That's not Ryan, but
probably no. I mean, Ryan Dice, one of the first people that I followed as well. Along with Frank Kern and all those people.
Yeah. I mean, so we got our no tech. So let's kind of move up. Let's talk a little bit from low tech and high tech. I think these are some great examples, some great nuggets, giving everybody here to really making sure that they're dialing in their differentiation and omnipresence game.
Well, your high tech is really going to be handling the metrics of your Facebook ads or your other ads, handling how they're working out, right? So a lot of people will say, oh, Facebook ads, they don't work, or the leads suck, right? Look, since the internet started, all I've ever heard is internet leads suck. Now it's Facebook ad leads suck, right? They don't suck. They don't suck. Look, there's a purpose for everything. And you're going to connect with 30% of them are buying now. It's just because you weren't able to connect with them. And it's not any fault. It's just you just weren't able because it didn't work, right? Or you didn't get it fast enough or whatever. It's the connection part of it and knowing what's going on with your specifics of the ad. For instance, how many people are seeing it and how many times are they seeing your ad? Cost per lead, everybody wants to look at, and cost per engagement, everybody wants to look at. Let's talk about your cost per transaction. Let's look at, what does the ad say? What's the headline? What's the image? I get the best responses from an ad that has to do with real estate that doesn't even have a house in it, right? I have a coaching ad out there nationally that it has nothing to do with real estate. It's got a picture of very colorful umbrellas in it. It does very well, right? It's a matter of looking at it. Now, here's the thing. If you've got all these different components, and this is the high-tech end of it, everybody wants to change everything. No, you can't do that. You've got to be patient, and it's going to cost you money, right? So say you change the headline. Check that out. Let it run for a week or two. Then you change the image. Let it run for a week or two. You got to see how it works and how Facebook aligns to it. That's really the high-tech end of it. Or A/B testing. Run them run different ads with the same stuff except one different thing. Hey, A/B test been done for years and years and years, right? So, and that's the high tech end of it is knowing what to look at, knowing how to adjust when you have to. That's the high tech end of it.
That's fantastic. That's great. Being able to understand that is a big component with it as well. So Dave, as we kind of transition, from the end of this conversation and really, hitting home some great little nuggets from a differentiation standpoint and omnipresence, anything that, like, hey, as we head into this really interesting season of the year, right? As the fourth quarter is always, I always feel is the most challenging. It has the most distractions. Well, this fourth quarter has even more distractions. Yeah. From that perspective and that viewpoint, like really what do people need to be thinking about the most and making sure that they're doing that the best that they can do, now and into the year and on into 21.
I think now, and you kind of referred to it earlier as being a lot more personal and being a lot more engaging and intentional with what you're doing. Don't be noisy. I mean, get out there and be consistent with your posting and be consistent with your presence. Look, I mean, we've heard many times the phrase being the mayor of your community.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a low tech and no tech issue. Of course, you want to do video doing that, and you want to be out in your community. But if you're going to be an agent in a niche market, and that market is a geographical location, you need to get out there. People need to see you, right? And the times that we're in, people. That's why some people have gone back and some people have excelled, because they're confused. And the ones that said, screw it, full steam ahead, I'm going to bust through this freaking wall, have done really, really well, because they've just, they've just broken things one after the other and done the fixes. I mean, as Sekou would say, make a mess, and then I add to that and then clean it up with progress, right? And that's what we've got to do. That's the saying we both came up together with.
I love that.
And it's just, it used to be, be careful. Don't make mistakes. Make sure you understand it. No, man. And here's why, right? Just listen to this. I got this from my buddy out from Social Networks, Matt Allman. The imperfection is the connection. Plain and simple. Don't worry about making it perfect. I mean, we got a lot of agents, and you've seen them. They do all these produced videos, and they put out one every couple of weeks. You know what? Do one a day. As Chris Smith says, give us your $1.80 version of yourself. That's giving your 2 cents 90 times a day. Just be consistent and go do it.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's a conversation with Damon John and Ice-T, and Damon's talking, he goes, the one thing that really frustrates me the most is that everybody has a highlight reel. He said, I don't want to see that shit. He said, what I want to see is I want to see your blooper reel. I want to see all the mistakes, right? I want to see that reel. I want to see the real you. I don't want to see the highlight you.
Right.
And it's just such a powerful point, because I really think, honestly, I really think people are over it. I think people are over seeing the highlight reels. I think they call BS on so much. They don't believe, the guy, in the Ferrari. They don't believe the guy. They just don't. They just don't believe it, whether it's true or not. They just don't. They're not going to connect. They're not going to resonate. They're not going to give their attention to that. But where they will give their attention is to the people that are being real and vulnerable and transparent. And I love you and Sekou's message. Make a mess and then clean it up with progress. I think that's one of the best little taglines I've heard, little lines I've heard in a long time, and it's really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. Since I've been with this group, I mean, I've had access to great people, including yourself, and just, I mean, Kyle Whistle and Dan Beer and all these people. And I learned something really valuable from Kyle. I do birthday videos every day. I send birthday videos to everybody on Facebook, and you know what? It has improved my engagement so much, that it's hard to believe. And I got business out of it. So that's something that everybody should be doing. Engaging, like I said, engage with your sphere, but engage with your friends too. Yeah, it is. It's really powerful.
Dave, man, brother, I really appreciate you jumping in here. Ton of content and nuggets and value that people can apply, take and apply immediately, and really, really help. And you said the word a couple times, and I was wanting to emphasize it, is that two things, right? Consistency and patience. And those that can be the most consistent and understand that, it's not an instant gratification, just coming from a place of contribution and adding value consistently over time will be those that win.
Yeah. And you never know, you never know when to stop or when to continue. It's, if you're in a 12-month game and you quit after 6 months because you're not getting anywhere, guess what? You missed out.
Yeah.
If you're in it for the long haul, you've got to just have faith. Give yourself blind faith. And you know what? Hire a coach and you're giving the coach blind faith. How about giving yourself blind faith too and give yourself some credit?
Yeah, such a great point. Dave, anybody listening in that wants to connect with you, what's the best way?
They can reach me on Facebook. I'm plain and simple on social media. You can find me anywhere. DaveFanale.com is is my online digital business card, or you can go to my coaching website at realestateskillbuilder.com.
Absolutely. And for all you guys listening in, you definitely want to connect with this man. Siku calls him real estate royalty. So, and I would agree. So, brother, I appreciate you jumping in and adding a ton of value. Thank all of you guys listening in. We can't look forward to catching you guys on the next episode. We'll see you.
Thanks so much, John.
Thank you.